You can imagine some of her older sisters or some of the neighbors perhaps, or maybe some of the brothers and sisters in the synagogue saying to her, "Now, sister, you need to watch your posture. You need to stand up straight. You shouldn't be so humped over. You're losing your figure. If you're not careful, you're going to become deformed." I imagine she had people tell her things like that as the process of this bending over was beginning to happen. Straighten up. Stop bending over like this. But that didn't help her at all because she couldn't do it. What great advice people give sometimes. You might as well tell a man with a broken leg to get up and walk. Don't worry, be happy, right? Don't be sad, be glad. But you see, that's my problem. I can't do it. I try, but it's no use. Or someone says, stop sinning, stop engaging in that sinful behavior that is bloodying your conscience and destroying your relationships and ruining your life. Stop doing that. You see what it's doing to you, how it's destroying you and everyone around you. Just stop doing it. It's going to damn you to hell. Get out of it. Keep away from it. Stop it. But the fact is, you're in bondage to it. You're a slave. Or quit being so sad, hopeless, and depressed all the time. Disillusioned with your life. Just stop it. Get a new attitude, right? Get a new attitude, my friend. You say, if only I could. If only I could. You know, as a pastor, I've sometimes found myself from time to time dealing with someone who's in a great spiritual distress, and everything that I've tried, everything I say to them, everything I've tried to show them from the Bible to try to help them, none of it seems to work. Can't seem to get at them. It's a baffling case. And sometimes you just feel all I can do is pray for them. Folks in this, they can even have a way of kind of turning the promises of the gospel against themselves. I can preach a comforting sermon full of grace and Christ and the freeness of the gospel, but there are those who still somehow find a way to turn it against themselves and to put the worst possible interpretation and construction upon it as it applies to themselves. Well, this poor woman, no matter how hard she tried, could not lift herself, and neither could anyone else. Thirdly, she had been in this condition for a long time. Did you notice that? The text tells us that she had been bent over like this for 18 years. Think about it. 18 years. That's a long time. 18 dreary, depressing years bowed over with your face toward the ground. 12 whole months go by, bent down with her face to the ground, only to be followed by another 12 months, and then another, until 18 long years had gone by. I have a book in my library by one of the Puritans, Timothy Rogers. It's entitled Trouble of Mind and the Disease of Melancholy. And in it he tells of his own experience of being in a state of almost complete despair and darkness of mind for a period of several years. And Bunyan, if you've read Bunyan's autobiography, Grace Abounding, he tells about a similar period of several years. I believe it's as many as 5 years in his own life. He somehow had convinced himself that his sins were so great that he had somehow blasphemed the Holy Spirit and there was no hope for him. And he was in this state for many years. Well, here's this poor woman, and for 18 years she's been bent over like this. It certainly must have seemed hopeless, but it wasn't. Because of Christ, my friend, there is always hope. No matter how many years you may have been lost in sin, how many years you've been in bondage or in a state of darkness and despair, Jesus had saving purposes for this woman the whole time. He had purposed from eternity that at the appointed time, the time when the most glory would redound to him and the most joy and good to her, he had purposed that after all those years of her being bent over as she was, that he would deliver her on that particular day, on that particular Sabbath, in that particular synagogue, as the people gathered.